That's a major violation. I'd be pissed.
You made the rules too.
I did make the rule. Don't take one another's gloves. Because I got each of us a pair of gloves so that no one would take each other's gloves. And here I am taking Dad's gloves. Who won't know? You won't know. Put them in the dryer and wash them. Hopefully I don't put a hole in them.
He's gonna know now.
Oh yeah, that's true. Sorry, Dad. We got a little bit of an annoying rain going on in the background, but we picked these 2 days to get work done up here, Camp Cutlet. We're in quarantine because of the coronavirus, but the woods is not closed off from the quarantine. It's actually better going outside, being in nature, away from the people that can infect you. So today we're going out to do some hinge cutting. Dino's got a master plan, and I'm just along for the ride, I'm gonna be completely honest. But we're gonna get wet, that's for sure. This is what it is. You got time to complain about it. Get out there, put your hard hat on, let's get some work done. Well, we have a early spring this year here in New York. It's a rare thing, but we wanted to start getting on the task list for some management stuff that we want to do this year, stuff that we didn't really start till May, June last year. But we haven't done this really on this property as hinge cut, and we have 2 or 3 spots on our property on the Onyx map right now that we want to hinge cut. Maybe, I mean, it might be an acre or 2. We're just going to go down and buzz a lot of these beech trees down. This is an area that we picked right here. It's a hillside. We got a food plot on the bottom of it. And this was a spot that 10, 15, 20 years ago, like you almost couldn't even walk through, and it held a lot of deer. Well, there's apple trees in here, but a lot of these trees just grew up. There's still some cover in here, but not like there was 15 years ago. So we're gonna go down and hinge cut some of the crappy trees. There's really no timber in here anyway, so we can't, there's really no bad trees to cut. This will allow all these trees to grow, and browse for the deer. It'll be a ton of bedding again, and it will allow these apple trees to kind of rejuvenate and kick back off again and hold more food in here. It's just going to be an awesome spot for the deer to spend a lot of time in. And yeah, like I said, we got a food plot and a redneck here on the bottom of this plot, so it's a really, really awesome spot, but this will improve it a ton. So we're going to endure the mist and start cutting. That's alright. Got done with spot number 1. Now we're gonna go hinge cut spot number 2. And we're just basically trying to create little pockets of cover and food for the deer, because what you realize up here in this big woods country of New York is the deer travel a lot farther than you think, number 1, and number 2, they travel a lot farther than you think. So if you can hold them up with these little pockets of cover and food in and amongst the woods, that's good. Great little sanctuary checkpoints. They don't have to be very big, but they have to be there. We got the redneck blind right there, and this is our sanctuary bottom area. We just did some hinge cutting up on the hill on the opposite side of the redneck, and we're going to do some on this hillside as well, because we predominantly hunt a southeast wind that blows up that way. So having bedding over there and having bedding over here will hopefully create a little flow of deer out in front of this redneck. Now we have one issue. Well, we have a lot of issues, but there's one main issue right here. Is there's a main trail that comes down this ridge. For whatever reason, a lot of times these deer want to come right up this trail, and they cut behind the redneck blind.
and skirt that way. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna start our hinge cut on the side of this hill right here, and I'm gonna take down this tree right here, this one, and a couple of these, and lay them across this path, blocking the deer from coming up this way, forcing them to stay low, and in all probability, swoop in front of the redneck instead of behind it. Will it work? I don't know, but I'm gonna try.
If anyone is in the market for a new pair of work boots and or just, you know, hiking, your shed hunting boots, just your outdoor boot, but we love to work in them. These Deer Stalker Sports from Rocky, these things are awesome. They're comfortable, they're like perfect weight, and you can walk right through the water with them, and your socks don't get wet. And they're affordable. You can use our TAGNBRAG code, TAGNBRAG25 at checkout to get a 25% discount on the already affordable Deer Stalker Sports from Rocky. I'd get a pair if I were you.
Hinge cutting day number 2. This is the start, pretty much. This is the literal start of the preparation for next fall. I mean, we've already started to an extent doing a little scouting, but this is the start of like the land management change. You know what I mean? It's the start of the process. So we created a couple little bedding areas yesterday, which was sick. We did the one in particular I really like. I feel like a buck is going to be using it this fall. And cleared some lanes to one of our main rednecks. That was solid because we always say we're going to do it and we never do it, but we did it. Now we're going to hinge cut another area that's already pretty thick, but there's some like those gnarly like thorn trees in and amongst a bunch of apple trees we want to clear out. We'll hinge cut some of it. It's already a little browse area before they get to our main food plot front field, but we're going to try and do a little bit more of a little thicket browse area so more deer will bed in there. And it's just quarantine, official quarantine day 1.
These trees that have the prickers on them, they're so annoying, and we're going through and hinge cutting all of them. I don't have to actually see if the deer browse on them or not, but it's going to create, they're real thick. The leaves, there's just so many branches on them, they get so thick and they block out so much sunlight. But once they're above the deer's browsing height, they don't do anything. So we're going to knock them down. It's really just crabapple trees and these trees with the prickers on them all in here. So getting rid of those is only going to help the apple trees create more cover for the deer. It's looking really good. I think I see a shed up here actually. It looks really old. I think I see one. Sure do. Yeah. It's a nice little buck. That's definitely from last year. Trying to think if we know him or not. Interesting. He was in here for the apples. We're gonna try to bring more apples to him. It's a nice little shed. Oh, this is awesome. This is gonna be an incredible bedding area because this was already a little sanctuary, but it needed to be a little bit rejuvied with some fresh bed. We went through, and mainly everything we cut was just these little thorn apple trees that are kind of a pain in the butt, and they got really thick canopies, so they're just blocking all the sunlight to get onto the forest floor here. You can see when you walk through, it's just, I mean, it's bare because the deer sit here and eat the apples, but there's just nothing on the ground in some spots. and it's going to be nice and thick in here now. We left pockets and trails going through all of it, so not too thick, but when the leaves come on, it's going to be thick enough to hold a lot of deer in here. And it's cool. You learn a lot when you hinge cut. We're not experts at this. We got a couple messages saying make sure your hinge cuts are low so that the deer, especially when the new browse comes up, it's not, you know, over that 5-foot deer browsing height, which is good because we took that advice. I mean, a lot of our cuts were pretty low anyway, but it's gonna be real nice. I'm excited to see what this does and hold deer. And the other thing is, the real apple trees that this produced heavily 10 years ago are gonna all get a lot more sunlight now to hopefully regain their strength, create a lot of food, a lot of bed, a lot of safety. Win, 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 win.
See an orange glove over there? You see an orange glove over there? You do? Thought I almost lost my glove. Starting to lose my marbles a little bit. That happens when you get some food in your system. Proteins. Stay woke. Stay woke, cuz.
It's a sweet little buck. I mean, I don't know if he was alive this year or not. Now that I think about it, I think at the end of 2 years ago, we got a picture of a buck with one side like this in that orchard. I don't know where that picture would be, but I'm picturing this deer right here.
He a nice buck.
And
I don't know if he's alive, but
yeah, I bet you he's not. But
he had to be this year.
a little
Obviously.
split coming off his too. That would have been a sweet buck.
Well,
Rest in peace if you're not. Thank you, shit.